Less than 35 years ago, 1850, millions of human beings up to that time had gone to untimely graves, begging piteously for a cup of water to cool their parched lips, while the burning fire of fever was consuming their lives. Doctors in those days said, "Cold water is death. Do not give a drop. Give the patient a dose of calomel, mercury, and a spoonful of warm water." Not only were patients denied cold water, nature's remedy, but light and pure air were also denied them, and they were drugged with calomel, physicked with jalap, a strong purgative, depleted of their lifeblood by the lancet, and starved until they gave up the ghost, a tribute to this medical delusion. Alexander Milton Ross, MD, Toronto, 1888. These deaths were never recorded as medically caused, but as dying from the diseases the doctors were treating. The world-famous English nurse Florence Nightingale published an attack on the idea of germ theory in her 1860 book Notes on Nursing. This was over 17 years before Pasteur would claim the germ theory idea as his own. Florence writes, "Diseases are not individuals arranged in classes like cats and dogs, but conditions growing out of one another. Is it not living in a continual mistake to look upon diseases as we do now, as separate entities, which must exist like cats and dogs, instead of looking upon them as conditions, like a dirty and a clean condition, and just as much under our own control, or rather as the reactions of kindly nature against the conditions in which we have placed ourselves? I was brought up both by scientific men and ignorant women distinctly to believe that smallpox, for instance, was a thing of which there was once a first specimen in the world, which went on to propagate itself in a perpetual chain of descent, just as much as they were a first dog, or a first pair of dogs, and that smallpox would not begin itself any more than a new dog would begin without there having been a parent dog. Since then I have seen with my eyes and smelt with my nose smallpox growing up in first specimens, either in close rooms or in overcrowded wards, where it could not by any possibility have been caught, but must have begun. Nay, more, I have seen diseases begin, grow up, and pass into one another. Now dogs do not pass into cats. I have seen, for instance, with little overcrowding, continued fever grow up, and with a little more, typhoid fever, and with a little more, typhus, and all in the same ward or hut. Would it not be far better, truer, and more practical if we looked upon disease in this light? For diseases, as all experience shows, are adjectives, not noun substantives. True nursing ignores infection, except to prevent it. Cleanliness and fresh air from open windows, with unremitting attention to the patient, are the only defence a true nurse either asks or needs. Wise and humane management of the patient is the best safeguard against infection. Bacteria, also called microorganisms because of their small size, are believed to cause disease. But is this true? It was first possible to view these microorganisms when Anthony van Leeuwenhoek invented a capable microscope around 1674. German bacteriologist Robert Koch invented what are known as Koch's postulates, which are logical and appeal to common sense. In order that a microorganism may be scientifically held causal, it must always be discoverable in association with the particular disease, never occur under conditions of health or in other disease than the one indicated, be capable of cultivation for many generations outside the body of the host, always produce the same disease when subsequently inoculated into the body of another animal, then always be found in the second animal host. No single microbe put forward by bacteriologists as the cause of a disease has yet complied with more than one. The first postulate, the most critical for discovering a causal agent for any particular condition, is comprised of two criteria. The microorganism should be found in abundance in all organisms suffering from the disease in question, but should not be found in a healthy organism. The logic behind the first postulate is obvious, that a single exception to one or both criteria means the microbe cannot be the cause of the disease in question. However, bacterial research and their association with various diseases reveals exceptions for both criteria of the first postulate. A bacterium called Staphylococcus, which is supposed to cause infections, has also been found in healthy people. Dr. Beddoe Bailey states that the diphtheria bacillus was missing in 14% of clinical diphtheria cases. Sir William Osler, in Practice of Medicine, page 138, admits its frequent absence even in bad cases. Ritter detected it in 127 perfectly healthy school children, and Hewlett and Murray found it in 15% of children in hospital with various maladies other than diphtheria. The tubercle bacillus was discovered by Professor Koch in 1881, and he tried, without success, to prove that it is the cause of tubercular consumption. Dr. Walter Hadwin from England states nobody has ever found a tubercle bacillus during the early stages of tuberculosis. Because of this, adjustments had to be made to the theory. It was now possible for bacteria to reside in people without causing the particular condition that they are meant to cause. This is described as asymptomatic carriers. The implication of this label is that healthy people can carry these so-called pathogens and transmit them to others, who then become infected and develop the disease. There is no explanation as to why the asymptomatic carriers do not get sick themselves. It is simply claimed these people have a latent infection. The concept of latent infection contradicts the core claim of germ theory, that bacterial infections cause disease. Today, this is used to make people afraid of their fellow humans. It is a good marketing ploy to sell vaccines because those afraid of these asymptomatic carriers will demand that the healthy be vaccinated to protect themselves, and so we reach yet another level of craziness. A book titled Medical Voodoo by Annie Riley Hale on page 333 tells the sad story of a woman branded Typhoid Mary. The account reads, Mary, a maidservant of the better class in New York City in the summer of 1907, was working where several cases of typhoid developed. Because Mary did not fall ill with the fever, though in contact with the patients, the only explanation that medical science could offer for such a phenomenon was that the woman was a typhoid carrier. There was absolutely no evidence or proof of it except the health officer's wild guess. Much contrary evidence was offered by Mary and her friends, but she was arrested, charged with a menace to the public health, branded Typhoid Mary in the newspapers, and imprisoned in the isolation hospital on North Brothers Island. She remained there for 30 years in solitary confinement until she died. She was a victim of medical stupidity and ignorance. Her crime was that she was healthy.
Can we give you a little medicine? I promise. I'll be gentle, okay? I'll be gentle. I'll be gentle. I promise. I promise. Are you done? Almost done.
Yeah.
Almost
Move in a little bit.
Good job.
Yeah, there you go.
It's okay, Shirley. It's okay, love. It's okay. Just let her relax. It's okay.
Very good.
Wait. Give me your arm.
Good job, Shirley.
Real quick, okay? Real quick. It's okay. It's okay. I promise. Real quick, okay? And
It's all right, baby.
And we are done.
All right.
Good job. Woo!
All right, little poke, dear. Little poke.
Not fair to watch.
It's okay, hon. There you go. Piece of cake.
All done. You did good.
It's okay, hon. It's okay. We just gave you a vaccination. That's all, okay?
Hi, Mom.
It's okay.
The reason tuberculous was not found during the early stages of tuberculosis is that it came after as the body's clean-up crew. Bacteria are produced from within the body. They are not harmful invaders from without. They do not cause illness. It is like observing firemen at the scene of a fire and concluding they started it, or seeing maggots on a dead dog and concluding the maggots killed the dog. Maggots only eat dead tissue. We know this from maggot therapy, where they put maggots on wounds that won't heal. Experiments with tuberculous were mostly done on guinea pigs. In 1868, Dr. Wilson Fox proved that it was easy to produce tuberculosis in guinea pigs by almost any tissue irritation and by inoculation with miscellaneous substances. 11 of 13 guinea pigs became tubercular through subcutaneous injection of pneumonic lung substance, 4 out of 5 by that of putrid muscle, others by the insertion into their tissue of silver wire, cotton thread and the like. Dr. Fox's conclusions were confirmed by Dr. Waldenberg and have never been contradicted. Germ theory was discredited and dying. It needed a saviour. Enter Louis Pasteur's Flying Virus Circus to the rescue.